Hi, lovely people. How are you today? My name is Dreya. I'm with Platinum Black Services, and today I just wanted to go over a quick tip on naming your corporation the right way. So, just in case you are in this part of your journey in starting a business, I just want to help you kind of go through this little hump because if you do not name your corporation the right way, you can face the state rejecting your articles of incorporation and then you'll have to start that process all over again. So I want to save you some time in doing this step the right way. And I have a client right now who is starting a business now. They don't want to go back to work. I don't blame them. We've had a year home, working from home during COVID. And, the new norm is starting to set in where a lot of people just want to work for themselves. They don't want to go back to an office and work for an employee and punch a clock in. Who can blame them? I'm one of them. So let's jump right into it. So, again, a quick introduction. My name is Dreya. Hey, I'm with Platinum Black Services. I have been running this company for the past, I want to say 15, 20 years. Started off doing bookkeeping for various clients in various industries. And then I wanted to kind of help out people on a more larger scale in starting a business. That's my passion. That's what I like to do, including I've owned a couple of other businesses in the past. And again, my mission is to help you start a business quickly and find profitable income streams because that's what it's about. You want to support yourself, you want to be happy, and you want to get your time back. All right. So my goal today is to help you do three things. And that is to help you name your corporation appropriately according to the state regulations. Each state has its own rules and requirements to follow. To learn where to go online in order to see if your business name is available to use within your state. And last, how, to do a business name search within your state. Now, as we go on, I first want to stop and do a pause and go over kill some myths about starting a corporation because I'm pretty sure a lot of you have weighed the options of starting an LLC versus a corporation. And either one, to be honest, is great to do. My only thing is an LLC is basically considered a disregarded entity in the eyes of the federal government. It's not a bad thing, but there are just some tax advantages and things that you don't get to have as an LLC versus a corporation unless you started an LLC and claimed to be a corporation or to be treated and taxed as a corporation, which I don't know. To me, it sounds kind of silly. You might as well just go ahead and be a corporation. That's just my personal opinion. But again, there's no right or wrong reason, and it still works out in the end, depending on, what you do and what you choose. So the first myth killer is you don't need, you might think you need a lot of money, but you don't need a lot of money to start a corporation. Not at all. The key thing, though, to starting a corporation is you just got to be very organized, especially from the beginning. So you're going to have corporate documents like articles of incorporation, your bylaws, and shareholders agreements, things like that. You want to just be very, very organized with those. Those are so important for tax season, tax time. And, hopefully you're not audited, but in case you are, you want to have those forms on hand and in order. Your books, your bookkeeping, your financial statements. My suggestion, I strongly recommend soon as you open up a business checking account or savings account or both, also run to your store or go online on Amazon and buy QuickBooks because the first dollar that you deposit into your bank it needs to be recorded, and then going forward it needs to be maintained. You have to track every single dollar that goes in and out of your business, and you don't want to wait until the last minute to kind of scramble around and get things in order, but it's just essential to make sure that you have everything in order, and then of course collect all your statements and keep those filed away. The goal is, or the requirement is to keep things on file for 7 years, at least 7 years. And then receipts. And of course, that's where your tax deductions come in. You want to make sure that you're saving a receipt for any and every expense business related and that qualifies as a tax deduction for your business. The next myth killer is you are not required to pay dividends. I think a lot of people decide to go the LLC route is because if I go the corporation route, oh, I'll be taxed twice. And that's not true because corporations, yes, they do pay dividends, but they're not required to pay dividends. That's just an incentive, which is used to kind of keep shareholders investing, pouring capital into the company, keeping it going. And by that time, if you're looking to pay dividends, by then you should have a really good CPA or CPA firm that's helping you through that process and knowing, how to be taxed and how to, get some benefits and kind of save you on that. And then the last myth killer is, oh, you have to be this, you shouldn't start a corporation unless you're, at the level of a Fortune 500 company. Again, that's not true. Every Fortune 500 company is doing the exact same thing that you're doing when you're starting your corporation. Don't let that intimidate you because you don't have to be a big name, a big brand right off, from jump. Even the founder of Apple started in his garage. So you don't have to, be on the same level as the big boys. You just need to start. And, the only difference is that they've been a corporation a lot longer. That's it. Okay, so general naming requirements for corporations, and this is just general across the board for any state in the United States. And that is you cannot use words that may mislead the public into thinking that the company that you're forming is formed other than for the purpose or the purpose listed or stated on your articles of incorporation. And there's about 4 rules to go over that goes into more detail about that. But just in general, you cannot start a business and list on your articles of incorporation that, hey, my business is like a professional commercial cleaning services. And then the next day you want to start a restaurant and use the same name. Nope, that's not going to fly. That's not going to work. All right, so the first rule in naming your corporation, you cannot imply that your corporation is a government entity, financial institution, or any other agency regulated by law without authorization. I'm sorry. So there are restricted words in general that you cannot use, such as bank, savings. You cannot say that your corporation is a trust or insurance company, a credit union, cooperative, etc. You just have to, go and read the forms for filing out a business for your articles of incorporation, and it'll give you a list of names that are restricted. But this is pretty much the general rule. Unless you are authorized and given permission to claim that your business is or one of these things, you cannot use that and you will be denied. Your application will be denied. All right, rule number 2, you cannot imply that your business offers professional services, which requires appropriate licensing by the state. So restricted words like CPA, engineer, attorney, things like that. You cannot say that you offer professional services as a certified public accountant, engineer, attorney, so on and so forth, if you are not licensed. Point blank, period. You cannot do that. That's illegal. And third rule, and we're going to expand the third rule a little bit more, which is you must use words that are distinguishable and not the same as or deceptively similar from another business name. Okay, so basically there are just rules in place that say if someone has this name already registered, you cannot register under that same name or something similar or close to it, which will again confuse the public into thinking that you are a different company or something of that nature where it confuses the public and they don't know who is who. In the state as well. All right, so good example. You cannot use punctuation, contractions, or abbreviations. They do not distinguish one name from another. And we're going to go through 6 quick examples. As you can see, example number 1, night and day is not distinguishable from night and the symbol day. It's just not. Number 2, Hill Supermarket is not distinguishable from Hills with apostrophe S supermarket. Still very, very similar, very close. Number 3, play, kind of like an abbreviation, P.L.A.Y. Inc. is not distinguishable from just saying the word play, Inc. Number 4, barnstormers is not distinguishable, from barnstormers with barn-stormers. Same thing. The state will not approve that name for you. Number 5, do not stop ink is not distinguishable from don't stop ink. Again, we're using that contraction from do not to don't. They're not going to accept it. It looks too similar. And last, Mr. Coffee, where you're spelling Mr. Mister LLC, it's not distinguishable from Mr. if you use the abbreviation or the prefix Mr. Mr. Period coffee. Again, it's too similar. They're not going to allow that and let you form a corporation under that name. Okay, another example is the use of an article such as the, a, or an, or such as and, but, or does not distinguish the name from another, nor does changing the entity's designation. So the first one, the first example, the big company, is not distinguishable if you want to use a big company. See, you cannot interchange the with a. It's not acceptable. And then as far as the entity's designation, and we'll go into that a little bit more, where it says Barnstormers LTD, which is an abbreviation for limited, is not distinguishable from the Barnstormers company, or CO dot, which is an abbreviation for company. They will not allow you to register under that. All right, so what can be used to distinguish the name? So numbers. So numbers within a name can be used to distinguish one name from another if the number is formatted differently in each name, along with adding more letters. So following example, number 1, Roman Investments 2, which is of course the Roman numeral, II, or 2, is distinguishable from if you use Roman investments and then the number 2, and investments 2 if you spell out the word 2. So they look at that as, different enough, distinguishable enough to say, okay, we can have 2 or more companies be registered in the state, with that being the differentiator. And then number 2, a plumbing is distinguishable between AA plumbing. So you just add another letter. Again, another example with the third example is ABC is distinguishable from AABC, ABBC, ABCC, ABCD, and AABBCC. They're all distinguishable from one another, and the state will allow you to register under those names. And also, reversing words or using a variation of the spelling can also be used to distinguish one name from another. So first example, energy first. You flip those or reverse or flip those words around, it will be distinguishable from first energy. And then if you kind of do a variation of spelling again, quickie, Quickie, Mart, is distinguishable from a different way of spelling quickie. So you just remove the QU and you add QWIKEE Mart, Quickie Mart, or another way of spelling Quickie Mart, and that is acceptable. All right, we're still on rule number 3, and just to wrap that up, a foreign language. If you use a foreign language name, that will not conflict with the English translation. It usually does not. For example, la flor, meaning the flower, when translated into English, that's fine. So you have one language that says the floor as la flor, and it can be registered and acceptable within the state because it's not the exact same word or spelling as the flower. And then just bottom line, at the end of the day, unacceptable words across all states will not be accepted and allow you to register your company. So if any name contains profanity or words or phrases that are generally considered a slur against an ethnic group, religion, gender, or hereditary, it is considered unacceptable right out the gate. Okay, and rule number 4 of naming your corporation, the name must also include an expressly authorized suffix, often referred to as an entity designator or entity indicator. So for the state of Alabama, if you are looking to register your business there, you can choose between the long suffix or abbreviations such as corporation or incorporated, corp, or inc. Now on to the good stuff. We're going to switch screens in a minute, and I'm going to take you to the website of where you can search for the business name availability of your choice or that you've selected, and it's going to be located on Alabama's Secretary of State website. And I will show you the process and how to search for the name and see if it's taken or if it's available. All right, now we're on to the fun part. So I went into my browser and pulled up e-secretaryofstate.com. And in this list, it pulls up every state and the website to go to the Secretary of State. Right now, we're looking at Alabama to form your corporation or to do the corporate name search. Right here, we'll go to Entity Search. A new tab will open up. And as you can see, Alabama Secretary of State. And then we're going to do a business entity search by entity name. Okay. Under name, we're going to go ahead and type in Bob and as an example. For some reason, every state has the word or name Bob in it. So it's very easy and simple to use for an example right here. And we're going to leave everything else as is. We're going to leave the defaults for all records, principal city, does not matter. We'll leave that blank and go ahead and click search. All right. So the names are pulled up that are taken that have been registered with the state of Alabama. And as you can see, there are a lot of LLCs and corporations, things of that nature. So just go through the list. If your business name is Bob and Rob Cleaning Services, you just want to go through this list and see if there's anything similar or related to the name that's being used. Over here, city, we can ignore that. It doesn't matter what city. Over here for type, in this section, you want to see if it's an LLC or corporation. We also have limited partnerships under here. So it's important to know if the same business name is also registered with the same type of entity that you want to use. And last, status, which is the most important part, if the name is still being used or not. So dissolved, so Bob and Bill Investments LLC, that should be available because it has been dissolved. It's not existing anymore. No one is operating a company under that name. However, if it says exists right here, obviously you can't use that name. You cannot use anything similar to that name either because it will be rejected. The state will not let you use it. Now, previous name, it could have been a name change. So what I would do in this case where you see previous name, I would definitely make a phone call directly to the Secretary of State, whatever department manages registering the businesses and or business name, and just double check to see if, even though you see previous name, is that available now? Is that something that's currently being used? Okay. All right, we're going to swing back over to the previous tab, and now you have two things, one or two things you can do. You can either register or reserve the name that you want to use, and that just means you're just going to, claim the name, hold it, and further down in the future, register the business under that name. Or you can go ahead and register your business, fill out the articles of incorporation, and file it with the state, and then you're done. So what we need to do is find the necessary forms to fill out. So back here, Alabama, we're going to click on Forms. Okay. And the forms can be downloaded, filled out, a fee. Of course, every application you'll have to submit a fee with it, send it to the state, and then they'll file it, and then you're done. So let's scroll down. Again, first part, if you just want to reserve the name, we're coming down under name reservations. And the PDF form you're looking for right here is name reservation request form for domestic entity. So domestic entities are entities where you and or the company resides in. If you have an address within the state of Alabama, that you're considered a domestic entity. If you have a corporation that you want to file in Alabama, but you live or the company already exists and operates in another state, such as Maryland or California or Georgia, you are now considered a foreign entity because your home state is not Alabama. So you would fill out this form and again, attach the fee or provide the fee with it, submit it to the Secretary of State, and then you're good to go. Now, some of these also have an online version, but I don't see one here. So right now, you just want to pull up the PDF file and complete that process. Now, the second option is to just go ahead and form the corporation, register it with the state. So we'll scroll down, and first we're going to look for domestic corporations, and then the first file name is Domestic Business Corporation Certificate of Formation. You want to select this PDF file, and then you'll just go ahead and complete that form to register your business. And again, there's a fee. Attach the fee, send it in. They'll register your business, and you're good to go. And the last form we're looking for is the foreign corporation. Again, if you live or if the business is located or operates outside of the state of Alabama, but you want to register a location within the state of Alabama, then you want to use the foreign corporation application for registration form. Right here, fill it out, attach the fee, submit it to the Secretary of State of Alabama, and then you're good to go. All right, guys, I want to thank you for your time. I'm glad that I was able to help you. So by the end of this video, you should now know the requirements of naming your corporation by state. You should also know where to find the website, the Secretary of website for your state in order to do a business name search, and also how to do the name search. And the next step would be to also either reserve the name or to go ahead and file the articles of incorporation. In closing, I just want to suggest, checking out my website. If you go to platinumblackservices.com, I greatly appreciate it. I have some more tools and tips to provide for you. If you scroll down, I have some free stuff. Check out the free stuff. Items such as 7 things you need to maintain your corporate veil protection is a free webinar. Another free webinar, 9 legal corporate documents every corporation must have on hand. Also, a quick and dirty guide to corporation filing requirements is a free ebook. And last, a fill-in-the-blank business plan guide. If you don't have a business plan already, it's good to go ahead and grab that as you're forming your corporation with the state, filing the forms and getting established. All of this is free. Now, next, I also want to let you know that I have 2 kits that are all-inclusive, and it will help you meet specific goals in your journey as you're establishing your corporation within the state that you choose. And the first one is the quick business kickoff, the Incorporator starter kit. And it's just a couple of files for $10. You get some really good checklists and files and forms to fill out that will help you cross all your T's and dot all your I's in the beginning stages of forming your corporation. If you need more information, more in-depth starter kit that also provides your articles of incorporation, your corporate bylaws, shareholders agreements, shareholder certificate, dissolution forms. I have a really great comprehensive package. It's professional. The forms are in Word and PDF, so you can immediately download them, customize them, add your logo, and use them as needed and fill in the information that is customized to your situation. Down here, it's the Corporate Formation Starter Kit for the state of, and you just select whatever state that you're in. Right now, I have a special offer. It's if you use the code START NOW, you'll get $60 off. Currently, a kit is $99. You receive over 150 forms. Again, they're all downloadable and easy and quick to use. But right now, with $60 off, I'm giving you a discount of $39. And you can get started right away. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you've learned what you needed to learn or what needed to know in order to do a business name search for your corporation, and also how to reserve the name or to go ahead and file the articles of incorporation, depending on if you are a domestic corporation or foreign corporation. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.